the head.
Yo, my dudes! And we're live
Ye-
again!
Welcome to episode 1 of Zenkaiger.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. I hope everyone watched it and enjoyed it as much as we did.
I wholeheartedly enjoyed it, but there are some things that I think that need to be corrected already.
Yeah, interesting theory, interesting.
Interesting theory. We've not even.
Yeah, I happen to think there's quite a lot in this episode that I really enjoy about it.
Mm,
Um, but go on, if you're since we're already starting off, what is your issue with it primarily in your mind?
okay. So throughout time, since the 1980s or 1970s, whenever it first came out, 45 years ago, we've always had one episode and one series after the other, which is absolutely fine. But now it says they're all in different worlds and they're not in the same continuity universe. What
Ah.
the hell?
Okay, I have a theory about that, and we'll get back to that soon. In the
Okay.
meantime, would you like to introduce yourself once more, my friend?
Hello, I am Limbs of the internet. I don't know why. I'm a little hyper. I haven't been up well for that past day. But hello, I'm Elim, and I run the channel Elim and all that goodness. And yourself, kind sir.
Ah, well, Henshin is the name, although my actual name is Bryn, but since people call me both, I figured Henshin probably makes more sense now. Um, but yep, just your average writer and attemptee at doing all stuff awesome. So, yep, let's hopefully see how this goes. I'm sure there's probably a lot of people that have watched Zenkaiger now, since a lot of the subs have now come out. So, what do you think of the episode so far? How do you think Zenkaiger rates amongst the others just from this one debut episode, Ellen?
It's very hard because literally there are slow moments and there are moments where COVID affected filming and you can see it very blatantly. Um, I would say out of 5, I would probably give it 4 gears.
Oh, yeah, we'll come to that back to the rating system in a bit. Okay, let's have a look. So, okay, let's see who's in the chat today. We've got Coro Day. What's up, my dude? Friend of mine. I knew you couldn't resist watching. We got Thomas Franco. Thanks for joining us, my dude.
Hello.
Nerds of Attitude. Sweet, that's a nice addition there. Oh, Richard. Hey, hello, Richard. Nice to see you here too. Oh, I'm Blackwing. We love seeing you here as well.
Hello
Oh,
and welcome everyone.
and Vanessa's here as well. Hello, Vanessa. That's my partner.
Hello, Vanessa.
Love you. Okay. So yeah, let's get straight into the first sort of you know, sort of run through of what happened in the episode. So obviously we first have we're introduced into straight away the whole different teams of Rangers throughout history.
Mhm.
You know, we've got the all the way from Go Ranger down to the most recent, which is obviously Kira Major. Oh, I need to make sure I don't forget what I've done here because I keep forgetting to put things where I should do.
What
Okay,
was
yeah,
it?
right, yeah, they're all there. Okay, so yeah, obviously we straight away have Kaito joining us into the frame. Very simple introduction, although nothing is really, you know, given in terms of what this show's going to provide us, other than obviously that these powers that they receive are going to be sort of like specific to this particular
Mm.
dimension. So as you said before, each one is in its own separate dimension. Each ranger is obviously each of the rangers is then captured, and we start off straight away with just this one dimension remaining. And we have obviously Kaito going about his daily life, trying to do crazy stuff, trying to bungee jump off a tower. That's the first.
Because he's a YouTuber. He's a YouTuber.
Yeah, that insulted him badly. Oh, people can't just do awesome things anymore.
No.
And then straight off the bat, we got one dimension merging with another. So we got the Kikai machine world dimension straight away, like partially enveloping into this thing, and now we see humans in Kikairoids sort of like mingling. And then we get onto the nice sort of like gritty stuff as like a month's gone by. things seem normal and peaceful, but then the leaders of the Kinkai world end up just sort of attacking out of the blue. And there we go. We got the start off there for the Great Sentai right there.
Yeah, everything is working in gears. It's going full motion.
Yeah.
You know, you had the bad guys not really giving you the plot of what they want to do. Just, we're going to do this. And then you have the full-on morph where I love the Gatling thing. I wish it was going. Bah! And then we have some lovely abilities from Ninja as well as Zooja. That was it. I was like, I can't remember the name. So we have those abilities, and then we have a giant Juran just literally growing big, using his butt to destroy the bad guys, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah, I think that's one thing we should actually talk about, because obviously its debut is a different sort of like set. You obviously got the first Sentai shown here. So one of the most sort of highlighted events in this is probably the fact that it's the first time I've ever seen only 2 Rangers debuting in a single episode for a Sentai. So that was quite surprising for me. I mean, I'm talking about the very beginning. Obviously, like the the Thunder Rangers and the counterpart. I think it's Go Rangers or something like that. Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, other than obviously them two, I think this is the first time it's ever started off with 2 Rangers. So
I think it has.
Yeah. So obviously we have the Zenkaiger, the main leader of the team, and then we have Zenkaijuran also debuting in this. And it's surprising that they start off so small, and yet it seems so monumentous. I really love how they're sort of slowly introducing these characters, but yeah, it's so overwhelming to sort of see the story unfold. I really love what they're doing so far. Okay, let's quickly find out what everyone thinks of the episode generally so far. So, okay, Richard says it's almost as it's of their Dimensions in Dimensions in Danger. It's quite similar to that. His villains give off
these villains
vibes. Machine Empire. Yeah, they're getting those vibes a lot.
You know what vibe it gave off when we saw the bad guy? You may remember this, you may not, I don't know. But Games Master.
Oh yeah.
Just literally, it's Sir Patrick Moore, just literally as the Games Master, going, "Oh, you want your golden joysticks? You're gonna have to defeat those Rangers for me."
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I probably mention that was Black Queen that gave us they mentioned about the Machine Empire. I should say names. My bad. Okay, so let's just go straight into the first segment of what we're doing today, and that is just literally dissecting each part of the episode as much as possible. So here we go. I think my favorite part has got to be just seeing these like Rangers at the very beginning just being captured in what's known as a I believe I've got the thingy here. I need to remember these, but you know. There we go. So Tojiagir, I believe it's pronounced. Tojiagir. Yeah, that's what the foes of this are currently the Kinkai Empire are currently doing to capture all of these different dimensions and worlds. Now, you have a little bit of a beef with this, don't you, Erlim?
Oh, I do. I do have a beef. Okay, well, 2 things. One is, if you notice that when they do the gear lock thing on like Go Ranger and Jude Ranger, they actually make sure it's done to the right the frame ratio. So back then it would be in 420. And then all of a sudden, it's now when it goes to Karashima, it's have a look at it's 16 by 9. 16 by 9. So I really like that kind of little touch. But yeah, every single anniversary series, we've been told that every single Ranger, like it follows on. So you Go Ranger, and what the next one after that.
Yeah.
So like Go Kaija, Go Buster, and stuff like that. And in Go Kaija, they say exactly the same thing. They say in the very first episode, "Oh look, they're their first Sentai, so they know what it is." But now they've just retconned that, got rid of all of it, and said, "Oh, by the way, guess what? It's they're all got their own different worlds." So if that's the case, Super Sentai, does that mean that each world has unlimited Rangers and there's a million Gokai Reds? I want to know this. That's what I want to know.
Oh, yeah. Well, I have a theory about this too, because
Mm,
when it comes to Power Rangers, obviously we had Shattered Grid. So I'm wondering if they've done something similar where when one team had got captured, in order to sustain the stability of what's happening in this universe, it's fragmented the rest of the timeline into different
mm,
dimensions. I think that's what they might have grasped there, because it does seem very similar to what Shattered Grid sort of like designed in the first place, wasn't it?
mm.
This does have that vibe. And I do love, yeah, like you said, like going back to that old footage. It makes you wonder though whether that's the Rangers are in their own in the current day and getting captured, or if it actually is more like they're getting captured in certain points in time instead. You know, when they're in their
Mm.
prime sort of thing. So it does beg a question of what's happening there.
I could see that. That's very. If they're doing the shattered grid thing, I think that's a very interesting take because literally only Japan would take on that responsibility,
Yeah,
where America wouldn't. But I think it'd be kind of interesting. I'm interested to know what they're going to go forward with it.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm like, yeah, do you know what? I'm okay with that theory. I'll go with it for now. I'll go with it for now.
Uh-oh, great. Just my luck. All the images have messed up. Got
It's
in the wrong
fine.
order. Uh, no.
So as you get them, Blackwing goes, not
There we go.
necessary.
Okay,
They kind
so
of confirm that each Sentai are different from World X. That Kirimija team up with the Deca and Gavin and the Zooja and a Goku team up. I haven't seen that. I literally haven't. Which
okay.
series was that? Blackwing was that? Because I haven't seen anything from Kirimija. I think I stopped.
I didn't realize. I don't remember that actually being the case of Zeroja and Gokaiger team up because I thought they were in the same world. Because obviously, the Gokaigers arrive and then are able, and they end up collecting what ends up being like the changer for Zero Whale. So I find it a bit odd that it would be the case that they
Mm.
were in different worlds in that part. But maybe I missed it. I don't know. I have to rewatch that now just to confirm.
Yeah,
But
but Sentai Battle as well.
yeah. Also, I should mention if anyone does want their comment highlighted, I know we're going to keep running through these, but if anyone does want to contribute towards the Illuminerdi, then you're also welcome to use the super super chat
Super
function.
chats.
There we go. I'm starting to get. Oh god, I'm gonna get better at this, I swear. As soon as you get the super chat function, if you use that, then it will help Illuminati a lot, and also it will highlight your comment, and we will definitely read it. Obviously, we're gonna try our best to read anyone's comments that come through, but it's a guaranteed function if you use the super chat. So keep that in mind, my dudes. Okay, so yeah, here we go with the Toji gear. So these are the
Mhm.
ones that the actual Kikai Empire are using in order to capture all these different dimensions and stuff like that. I quite like the design of these. What do you think, Carolyn?
I gotta admit, I do. I think they do look nice. It looks evil. So it looks. It doesn't look like a gear or like machine. It looks like a monster, like the claws
Yeah,
gripping around. So I kind of think that looks kind of cool.
yeah. It reminds me like of a grasp of a bird of
Mm.
prey. I do like that sort of essence to it. So yeah, definitely seems something good stored in that.
Yeah. You know it's going to be literally Bandai Premium. You want that? Yeah, we've made that. You want this? You're going to have to buy it now. You go like, God damn it! And each one opens up to show just the Super Sentai in each year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I was wondering. Well, yeah, we have to find out, won't we? Okay, so yeah, here we go with the. Oh, is that too far? No, that's fine. That's fine. So yeah, this is where we've got the villains appearing. Obviously, you see a bit of Kaito and stuff first, but obviously we're trying to dissect a little bit more into the sort of key elements here, because obviously everyone's gonna have to watch this. So
Yeah.
as soon as they've seen it and they come back to us, that's great. But I really really think we should talk about each of the segments specifically rather
Okay.
than talk about each scene. Otherwise, we'll be here for ages.
I am okay for doing that.
Okay, so here we have in the image, we have
Games Master War.
yeah. Okay,
That's
I remember listening very intently to try and pronounce these names when it came to it, but it's been a while. So
yeah.
okay, so here we have like right highlighted in the middle of the screen, we got King Bakaros, I believe his name is pronounced. Obviously the leader. Clearly from the strong demeanor, he does come off like a really sort of like strong authority straight off the bat, but he pretty much is a solid wall. I don't know if you noticed
Yeah.
that. I wasn't expecting that kind of villain. I mean, we've had like probably immobile villains before, so to see such a huge one of this magnitude, it kind of expected it from a machine world, but at the same time, it's quite a dominating essence straight off the bat. It does seem like it's going to be a bit of a tough one to face if he starts upgrading. That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, it's just looking at it now, it gives me Vengex feels. Like when you saw all like the kind of like the machine monsters going at it and be like, we're doing it, and looking at it, it's that sort of camera angle. But he also has a giant bird.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah. So obviously he hasn't really been seen yet, but this is the evil version of Sekchan.
mm,
Gage, is it Gagey? Oh yeah, I think it's Gagey. I think it's pronounced his name. That's what I've heard it as, and yeah, basically huge. Like if you consider the size of each of the individual like Kikairoids right there, you just see this dominating sort of like bird in the top right hand corner. You'll be like, no, go, leave me
yeah,
alone.
he can pick you up and throw you away.
Yeah.
But like literally, the way that he was doing it, like when he's saying like he hates everyone bar the bird, and he's just like, oh, he's a good un, he's a good boy. And I generally thought, is it like a cat or a dog that he's trying to like keep it at?
Yeah, it is a bit considering the intelligence of that particular parrot. I'm surprised he's treating him in such a sort of like you know uh, like a pet sort of way. But I suppose if
Mm.
you're attached to something, you're attached to someone.
Now, the question is he a villain or is he like not the bird, but is he a villain or is he a home?
Yeah.
Because it's kind of too like the bird lives inside him.
Oh, actually,
What?
yeah. He might. Now you've mentioned that, the fact that he's actually a wolf probably does state a fact about what he actually is in terms of, how connected he is to the environment he's in. He might actually be the one that controls the castle. Because if you remember
Mm,
when they showed that in the very beginning, when you see these antagonists at the very beginning, it does seem like it's a machine empire that could possibly have sort of like a, a castle that could easily transform. So if he's actually
mm.
part of the castle and that is just that's just his head and the rest of him his body, that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. Has he only got one arm too? You,
Oh
yeah,
yeah. Oh
he's
yeah,
only
he
got
does.
one
He's
arm.
only got one arm. Suppose he don't need it if he needs anything else really. He doesn't need to eat. At least not in the
I,
at least not so far we haven't seen that he needs to.
yeah.
So yeah, okay, so let's move on to the next character. We got Idrirood. Um that's the guy who basically looks like a tank with the caterpillar wheels that you see in the white down there. I should have
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you'll see a bit of images of him next time, I promise. But yeah, he seems to be like the second in command and a key character next to Gegi. So yeah, I think we're going to see a lot more of him because he seems to be
Mm,
the only sort of maneuverable sort of like henchman. Well, henchman's the wrong word. High in command, so to say. In terms of command, I reckon just the king and Gegi just sort of stay in that room, whereas Idrirood seems to be like the one that they go to enact
mm.
all of the commands that he announces. So yeah, I think that's what the dynamic is between these three at the moment. What do you think of these particular three?
I don't know. Like I get from like I haven't learned their names. So Wheels, as he is,
Yeah.
he gives off like sort of a vibe where I feel like I don't know. He's gonna turn on someone. Like like we all know these bad guys always want to one up each other. So I've got a feeling that he'll be like the mononical or my whatever it is person that just wants like to cause chaos all the time.
Yeah.
But when I think from what I remember as his face, it kind of reminds me a bit of the one from Time Ranger or Thrax from Time Force. That sort of kind of bad guy where he could go crazy.
Yeah.
The other guy who's got the legs, where he kind of walks about a bit, I can see him being. I reckon he'll be destroyed in probably 4 episodes or something like
Yeah.
that, because then someone else will come better, or they'll combine parts to make more monsters or
Yeah.
more generals, whatever they want to call them. But I don't know. I haven't like gone like, oh, hello, bad guys. I don't respect you yet because I haven't seen what you can do.
Hmm. Oh yeah, yeah. I think I kind of like the aesthetic all of these generally have. It kind of reminds me of like a mix up between um O-Rangers villains with Go-Onjas. That's the sort of vibe I'm getting here because I'm seeing Ildirood as like one of the. I don't remember his name in either version, but the I believe he was like the general of air pollution from Go-Onja. You know, the one
Yeah,
that said
I
like
know.
pipes. Yeah, I think he kind of has that essence, Ildirood. And as for the other
Mm,
two, I think that's generally what they would you know remind me of. But they definitely have. I think the king definitely has a more sort of independent design from all the rest.
mm.
So
It just the king just literally looks like a Final Fantasy end boss villain.
yeah.
Like someone at the end you're about to go against, and he's just got insane amounts of HP. I don't want to say Sephiroth, but literally I'd say some Final Fantasy X bad guy.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel bad in a way because I feel like we haven't started off with the protagonist, we've gone straight to the antagonist. But I do think, that kind of separates us a little bit from what everyone
Yeah.
else does. And let us know in the chat as well what you think about these villains so far. It also should be worth noting that you do actually see the first foe in this series, Barashitara. That's the
Mm.
well, Barashitara. I should just probably just like wait for it to roll off the tongue. But yeah, it's the first villain that comes up. It definitely doesn't seem like he has anything special that we've seen in this episode. So I don't think he's going to be likely to come back. But it does. It is a good sort of like strong presence he gives off straight off the bat. So it's a good villain for the first series. What do you think?
I would say so. Like, I think first bad guys are first people that you see. They're always the cannon fodder. You don't. It doesn't really matter about them. It's the because you've got to have the hero destroy someone. So if you had like say he turns around and comes back later on, he's like, oh, I'll be back, Zenkaiger. You'd be like, you're not that strong, are you?
Yeah.
But I think it's more of a get him out of the way type thing. So
Yeah.
I kind of like it. But again, like I don't really have much connection with any of the bad guys, like the generals going down or the monsters of the week, effectively.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I am liking it so far. Like, it's gonna get better. It's gonna get better.
It should.
Yeah.
It's 45 years.
I see that Richard's responded saying that his wife thinks he looks a lot like Frax, so I think they agree with you there, Alem.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the next one, shall we? So here we have our protagonist Kaito facing off against Barashitara. So this is a front shot of him this time rather than just the back. But yeah, I think it definitely shows the sort of like level of strength compared to humans that the Kikai. I've said this so many times and now I'm stuck. And I'm gonna have to look at my notes again because
The way that I pronounce it is kick droids.
Oh, Kikanoid. There we go. Sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you. There you got my brain going again. So it's definitely showing the difference in power between the Kikanoids and obviously human. You do see a lot of the sort of like mundane Kikanoids, but obviously you see their view on those particular sort of like types straight off the back. 'Cause it does seem to be like as Juran describes, it's like a food chain, isn't it? So
Yeah.
it's definitely a huge hierarchy thing going on, and also a big difference in sort of like classes of society as well. So yeah, it's quite a lot of similarities between the Kikar world and the human world in some respects.
Yeah, if you notice that he's got mutton chops as well, the gears are like.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's a nice little detail.
I just noticed that as well as like the paint job all around him as well. The only reason why I took this photo is because when you see his hands grabbing like that, I feel like he's not grabbing strong enough because he doesn't want to break the foam. And that's the only reason why I sent it. I was like, I'm going to talk about this, so I'm going to send that photo. But yeah, like it does look like he does look good. Like they've done some really nice work, and it does look like a general, but it does look like he's got massive like chops now.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next one. So in this, we actually see all of the Kikoroids generally that we're going to become rangers. So we see Juran, Gaon, Vroon, and Majin all sort of like appearing at different times in this. But obviously, this particular episode is just for Juran to appear alongside Zenkaiger. So, what do you think of Juran so far?
I thought I'd hate him, but I actually kind of like him. He's got that hello fellow kids, how you doing type thing when you see him. So
Yeah.
he's meant to be like an old man. I generally thought I was gonna absolutely hate him, but he doesn't seem as bad. He works a lot with Kaito. He works really well, like they could be best friends. It's just the way that I don't like how Kaito forces it on him. It says, take the morpher, and that's it. But I think as a character, I think I could like him a lot more until Magi comes along when it's just like all about her.
Yeah, I think it's good how Kaito seems to sort of like relate to Juran in a sort of way. He's a good judge of character well, just in this one instance anyway, because he sees people for what they're doing and not what they simply are, which is why he seems so drawn. But I think that comes from his mother and father, as explained in earlier episodes. This particular scene, though, I had to take a picture of because I love that sort of sense of humor where the attack's just begun. This Kikai Royd soldier has just been ordered Duran to attack the humans, and he's picked up a rock and he's like, "No, I don't want to do that." But to the humans, it looks like he's about to attack them and listen to his orders, and they don't understand that. And just how Duran goes, "Oh, I guess we all look the same to you, don't you?" And then he just and then the same guy who was told him to do this and that he probably has a grudge against just comes up to him and goes, "That's just how it is. Thanks, man. Wait a minute." I love that sort of. I love the sort of humor involved with that. Oh, we just seen Jalen. Jalen just joined us. Thanks, Jalen, for joining. I'm glad you're here. But yeah, I love that particular scene involving. Yeah, it's that sort of humor that you barely see that often, and it's. I mean, at least I don't notice it, but in this I definitely do. I just I thought it was hilarious. You'd hardly have a sort of bad guy, good guy sort of you know casual encounter sort of like switched like that. So yeah, it's quite refreshing. Yeah.
I get what you mean. I've not really seen it that much, apart from when you see like a grunt go do something funny. But something like this standing out, you very rarely see.
Yeah.
So I think this episode has like quite a few funny moments, but it's more like it's those little ones that do stand out quite a bit that you just go, oh, that's actually a little bit funny. Yeah, cool, I get that.
Yeah.
So
It definitely seems to be like Japanese sort of like stereotypical humor because you see it a lot in Super Sentai, and I do enjoy that. I don't know what everyone else thinks of it, but I definitely do. Okay, let's move on to the next one. So here we've got our protagonist Kaito with his grandma, which I believe actually has a name. It should be. I don't know if it's. I mean, this sounds like it's her name because of the way that Kaito uses it. But Yak-chan.
Yeah,
Grandma Yak-chan.
Yeah.
So obviously we know that the mum and dad, which is Isa Mitsuku, disappeared. We have yet to find out the reason why. But yeah, obviously there was a big plan in motion because this particular character here, Sek-chan, the lovely little parrot, I love this parrot, is obviously debuting here. And it was created by Kaito's mum and dad. So what do you think of Sek-chan?
He's just basically Navi to like the second version of Navi from Gokaiger, and that's it.
Yeah. I'm getting that essence.
Yeah, I have no kind of thoughts on him at the moment because I just see him as the generic background character. I also kind of think that when they'll do this, they'll do the limited edition special like ticket royale thing where you can win a soft plushie of him, and then they'll do the other one at the same time, so you know that he's going to come out as a toy or something like that.
I would,
Um,
yeah, I would.
see,
Yeah, go on. Sorry.
I say, do you want one? Is
Yeah,
that it?
I really want one.
There we go. So Vanessa, we know what to get him for his birthday. Yeah, I've no like nothing on this one whatsoever. Um, is it going to be an annoying thing? I don't know.
Mm.
So I'm going to see in like next couple of episodes if I like it or not.
Yeah, I think
What about-
this next particular scene you sent me, but it's just
it's
before they sat down on that particular stool after Sek-chan sort of like tells them to. They're weirdly compliant for being scared. That's what I thought was a bit odd about this particular scene.
well, if you've got a giant bird that comes up to you and says sit down, you're like, all right, okay, I'll sit down right now. It's the only reason why I sent this one is it's when they find the base underneath, and you're just like, how did I not know this is underneath my house?
Yeah.
Like, how many like when they've walked across that, there would have been a bit of bump on it, so you would have gone, oh, this is a bit weird, and it's not. Yeah, it's not that from that step down. It's not that thick, so they could. What happens if they dropped something down and made a hole? They would have just seen something.
Yeah.
What the hell? Yeah, it was just that. It was just that. Hey, look at there's a base underneath my house. How do I not know it? How didn't this electricity company know about this? That's
Yeah,
the
so
thing.
straight off the bat, we know that Professor Iso and Mitsuko, the mum and dad of Kaito, are the ones that created this, as well as everything that you see there and everything that is created by them is generally all of Zenkaiger gear. So I really like how they all know all about the Super Sentai, but part of me is wondering how the hell do they know so much? But I suppose if you accidentally dive into something, something's going to come back. So maybe they were informed by, say, you know, Akira Ranger or someone like that. Someone who knows them pretty well, and they must have probably came across the Kikai, like the Kikai world, Kikai dimension, sorry, at one point too, and that's probably why they created this gear in the first place, because it seems quite similar to what, um, the Kikai civilization sort of possesses. So
Mm.
it's possible that they possibly witnessed this threat, sorry, and seen like the gears being used and decided to create something similar. So I think that's possible from what happened, and why this stuff exists.
Mm.
What do you
It's
think?
it's also interesting because now that Blackwing and a few other people have said about the way that Sentai is from this is a world that probably doesn't have Super Sentai whatsoever, because in any sort of form, it's just like it's the way that they've reacted. Like you kind of think, oh my god, there's such and such. So I think this world is literally there is no Sentai. He is the first. And it's something very different. So the bird knows everything about it, and it says like, "Oh, I know about Super Sentai. This is what power it's from." But they're like, "Ah, well, cool, whatever." I'm just this, in this suit. I've got my friend who's a machine now, and I think that's going to be a very interesting. So it'd be very kind of in like what they're going to do next time, for the next episode or near the end of the series. But I think this is going to be. It's
Yeah.
interesting if he's the first in his line.
Yeah. What does everyone think of this then? Because I really like this base, and please tell me your thoughts, everyone, on what exactly you think is about this particular storyline so far, and how they know about Super Sentai. I would like to hear your theories. It'd be really interesting to see if you've got anything different.
Yeah.
But
The only thing that this base needs to be 100% complete,
yeah.
guardrails.
Oh.
Literally, you could fall off the side. Guardrails. That's all they needed to put in.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I would say one thing though is I do worry about how they actually enter this base, because you notice it's just sort of like a drop. I
Yeah.
hope there's a slide involved, because it looks pretty. It looks pretty high from where they are. Not to mention that must have took some work to try and coordinate so they didn't actually fall off the platform. Because if you notice, the
Yeah.
platform there's a platform, and then it just goes further down from all of what the screens seem to be centering around the room. So imagine if they designed this and then you missed the platform the first time. Oh God.
Exactly. Guardrails. Guardrails.
Yeah, I imagine there's got to be a slide because that drop can't be healthy. I mean,
Yeah.
okay, let's move on to the next one. I loved how they shown the gears and the actual changer and the gears in the very beginning, where you see them on this huge like rack. It's beautiful. It really made them sort of stand out.
Yeah. It just comes out of nowhere. It's like, boosh. It's like, oh, all right. But like, it feels like maybe that's how they get out of this, because we've not said how they get out of the base.
Yeah.
Maybe they stand on top of it and it goes, poof, and it pushes them up with the speed that thing comes out of.
Oh, good theory. Good theory. Yeah.
If it is good, but if not, that's fine. But yeah, I've got to admit, like, I generally kind of thought, like, even though you've got it there, like, this could have been like designed for like one giant white room where they could have had the weapons and on display. I think that would kind of like the Ninja Storm base a little bit. That could have been like, that I think that would have worked well. But I'm guessing they couldn't do stuff obviously with the virus and that. But I like the fact that it's all on display. The guns are there. They're lit very nice. That's always a good thing. Maybe someone from IKEA's built them this, but I don't know.
These are highlighted so well, it just makes you want to buy the toy. That's what I'm getting from this straight away. But yeah, already we see straight away that this is the first 5 to be created, and it doesn't actually suggest that any other Rangers have been made by the professors. So whether or not there's a different storyline involved, we'll have to wait and see. But it's nice to see that we know exactly where they're coming from straight off the bat. But it does make you wonder what they do for the gears, because obviously they seem to be based on different Ranger teams apart from the Zenkaiger. So yeah, how they sort of draw on the power of different Ranger teams would sort of be something that they might mention.
I think they say in the episode that it's inspired by.
So I missed that part. Yeah.
I'm guessing they did, with the coin they put it in, and it either gives one ability or kind of multiple ones, and just say, oh, this is your power here, this is your power there, and then kind of utilize it. Or maybe the gear just taps into that world now and just goes, I'm gonna use your power for 2 seconds, thanks very much. Or it is just, as I said, inspired by, and that's particularly it.
Yeah. But either way, I really like the looks of this so far, and I really love the logo. The logo really sort of shows out on those screens. Well, what did you think when you first saw this room, Ellen?
The room, I generally think guardrails, because I generally thought as soon as they fell down, they needed something, like, in case if they did fall down, like if they hurt themselves, and they do that roll thing that we always see when they hurt themselves, if they just fell off, it's like, what is it? Just basically a glow, like a ball or something like that. That they just slide down. I like it. I think the base could have been done a little bit differently, but it's all CG, so it's just kind of a bit type thing. How did they get out? That was another thing that came to mind. They weren't in it long enough, but it was like, here's a computer, here's about all the Super Sentai stuff. Here's a computer screen so you can see what's going on. And then that's particularly it. What about you?
Yeah, I think if anything, the logo stand out the most when they're just sort of showing on those screens. I really love the look of the logo and how it's like a 3D effect as well. But yeah, the room seems like a nice environment and a good sort of like stage for what's going to happen next. But whether or not there's going to be more to this base, we'll have to wait and see. Okay, so this is I thought this was hilarious. As soon as Kaito went for the changer, the only obvious choice for him to go is, well, the only person here that could probably help me is my nan. Might as well give this to her. Here, Grandma. Fuck with me.
I did kind of like it. I love the fact that when he's saying no, she's like, no. She thinks about it for at least 1 second and goes, no, and pushes the idea down. I was like, but when you see it later on in the episode, where she goes like, oh my God, I should have done it.
Yeah.
But yet there are 3 others. There are another 3 here. I could easily take that one and go do it. But it feels like that photo when we saw it, it's just literally they're ready to go do a drive-by or something. That's it. No one can take over the grandma.
Yeah, I think it's interesting how when you think about how this gear is going to be used, it's all going to be Kaito that dictates exactly who gets this gear. He seems to be the only
Mm,
one sort of controlling the distribution of the Zenkaiger powers. So yeah, whether or not anyone else is going to be included in this, I imagine the professors are out there somewhere, and they probably made other powers and then given it to different characters that will be later debuting. So it will
mm.
be it will be surprising if all the other sort of like elements that are going to be included here do appear in the same area or in the
Mm.
same method, should I say? Sorry.
Do you reckon she's going to take his morpher at some point and transform?
No, she was like, no, 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 no. Honestly, that's what
It'd
mine.
be like,
If I honestly said to my grandma, here's a changer, help me fight this couple of robots. She would, oh, I couldn't do that. She did. She so reminds me of my nan.
I reckon it'll be something like, even if it's not like official, it'll be like episode 30, and it'll be like she'll imagine herself doing it, doing like da 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 da, and then you'll see her transform. I reckon there'll be at least one episode or one flashback of them thinking about her fighting. I
Yeah.
reckon that's going to be one thing later.
Yeah. Let's have a
Oh,
look at some of the comments coming through here. Richard saying it's inspired by the tune, so is it music that could dictate the power? Or maybe, yeah, different tunes coming out from the morpher depending on changer, and depending on how potent the music, it might be different. That's not a bad theory. Metal Ryan Cluster, thanks for joining us. Episode was good. Oh, you got to surely tell us your favourite part at least, but we'll get back to that later. A Blackwing, I really like the grandmother. Yeah, I liked her too. She was nice. Yeah, she's. I think it's just because she reminds me of mine. So, Richard also saying it would be so much cooler if Grandma was from an old Sentai. Not actually, but just the actress. Yeah, I suppose, but
I get that.
it's the personality at the end of the day. You know, the character that comes through is being portrayed by an actor. So, you know, it might make a difference, might not. I think she still is a strong character.
Do you know what makes that photo even better?
What's that?
Is the fact she's got slippers on.
Yeah. Okay, so here we go with Kaito meeting Juran. He just saved a kid, and the only one who actually noticed that he's trying to help people instead of being one of the Kikoroids that are hurting people is Kaito. So instantly he's earned the trust because he's just so sort of like hoping that they can get on with each other. And like you've seen before, he got so upset when the peace was disturbed by the soldiers of the Kikai Empire.
Mm.
So
See,
go on,
see
Aaron.
this
Yep.
this is the one part that it just generally annoyed me a little bit, because I don't know, it just felt like the scene was out of place. Like, he's more like, oh, I want you to be it. Like, I know he saved a kid, but it just felt more of a, I'm quickly giving you this. I don't care. You are, I know you're part of the series. You've got to have this. And it's just like, just take it, just take it. It didn't feel like it was earned. Like, again, like not Zato, Kyoto. He just turns up, and it feels like he doesn't see it happening. Just sees this, like he sees Duran just being like, hovering over this kid. But I generally just kind of thought it was just forced. I don't know why, but then they make up easier. It's the one thing that just kind of like put me off a tiny bit
Yeah.
of the episode.
I do see your point, but it kind of shows more of Kaito's character, the fact that he was so willing to trust Duran
Mm.
from that one particular scene. I mean, anyone could have been witness to that, and no one would have thought, oh, he obviously deserves power. So I think this is a lot more of a telling for Kaito than anyone else in this particular scene.
Mm.
But yeah, I do like how there's that sort of like handoff of friendship between the two. Like there's almost instant trust,
Mm.
which is just shows the sort of personalities both Kaito and Juren have.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just take it. Take the
this is
morpher.
here we go. So obviously once they get the changes, that's one thing I forgot to mention. The shot that that Juren gives off straight off the bat, not
Yes.
even thinking about the fact that there's more to the changer. It's just boom. Oh yeah, that would do.
Yeah,
We can
I
use
think
this.
yeah, that is I think my all-time favorite part of the episode. It's just the way it's played off. I think it worked so well, which I loved. Like I thought, boom, well done. Whoever wrote that in, perfect.
Yeah.
You've done it well.
Yeah. Also, it's nice how they have that sort of quick chat between each other. Like, actually, I forgot to give you this gear. This is how you use it.
Yeah. I like that part as well. Actually, it's really nice that they put these things in, and it's also very to like they was it like in Dino Fury where they were practicing in episode 2 of like learning to morph.
Yeah.
That's what it kind of led to, and I was like, I kind of really like this. It's like put the gear in here, turn it. Oh yeah, okay, gunjode.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah. Well, let's quickly, swiftly moved on to the actual change itself because I really loved the aesthetic this had.
Mm.
Obviously the regular change, it calling out the number of each one and going 45, bang, 12, bang. Oh, sorry, 15, bang. I loved that. That was really, I like that sort of, simplistic sort of like changer sounds. Obviously, if it was a Power Rangers, I'd probably want a little bit more to it. But for Super Sentai, I'm like, that's perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, what did you like about the change sequence?
It seemed it flowed. Um, it wasn't overly complicated. It was more like even when you saw the floor morph. So when they morph, it opens up on the floor, and that was when power activated type thing. So everything worked as it should do in a gear, and I think that's the way that they've kind of gone for it. Make it simplistic, but not overly complicated.
Yeah. I really love the visual effects they have for the transformation, though, like the gear
Mhm.
switching and then the sort of like, numbers and stuff appearing. I really loved that so much. But I think it made Zenkaijuran stand out way more than Zenkaiser. I think that just because of these like sort of like potent red armor and stuff. I think that's
Yeah,
what gave it to me. But it's just the details in his suit and I can't believe I didn't notice this before, but the number appearing on each of their
yeah.
helmets. I thought that was only Zenkaiser that had that. I completely missed that detail when we saw the first images of these rangers. So I'm quite shocked that I completely like was oblivious to that. But what does everyone else think of the transformation scene? I really want to find out what everyone thought of it.
Mm.
What do you think of the actual suits themselves?
The suits, Zenkai's one's not too bad. I actually kind of liked it. I think for the very first time of when like seeing Zenkaiger, I was visualizing what the last like the uh without the helmet roll call that they normally do at the end of the series. So I was kind of thinking about that for the first time. I was like, oh, actually, that's gonna be quite cool when he does all the moves himself, where he does everything. I'm like, I can't wait for that. The suit, I think, at first it's grown on me quite a lot to the point where it's not like it does remind me a lot of Kamen Rider, but I kind of like it. I think for this series it's actually suiting it a lot more than say if it was like he was a Red Ranger and then obviously you've got Duran there if he was like say Green Ranger or whatever.
Yeah,
um so I think that would be kind of like that was kind of cool. Like even his suits when he's got like he's basically like a mini Megazord. I kind of liked it because it works well for what they've done. For them
yeah.
taking a gamble on this, I think it's really paid off. But it'd be interesting to see how much is it. Is this just is this just the way that we're looking at it now? Going like, yeah, it's great, and then 5 episodes time, oh god damn, it's a bit poo. I don't like it, but it's a nice. I just really like his helmet. I think that's the one I kind of like the most.
Yeah, yeah, it is nice. I can't wait to see the other three. Really, it's going to be
Mm.
great. Okay. Obviously, after they morph, we have the battle sequence. You see more of the changer and how that's used. I really love how it's more like a Gatling gun once you start
Yeah,
spinning it. That was great. But let's talk about the actual Super Sentai gears themselves. Because I remember saying about this last episode and saying to you as well, I wasn't too sure how much I was going to like it because, only one ranger is represented and it's generally just sort of like, the leader. And I really don't like a collective gimmick that just goes, here's all this stuff just for the sake of it.
mm.
But to see them actually used in Zenkaiger and have these different abilities, I really, really love it. And I love how they have the silhouettes of the team before it's actually used as well. So
Mm.
I want to get everyone's take on that. That'd be great to find out. What do you think of it, Erlen?
I like it because I think basically this is the same sort of thing of the way that they do it, like they did with Gokaiger, because I think this is the only way that you can really look at them.
Yeah,
So um, I kind of thought that when you saw it, it was more like this is the team that you remember. Even when the bird, he's saying stuff like, "Oh, this is Juoja," this is the number of whatever Sentai, whatever. I think that it's to remind you because again, it's an anniversary season, so it's like, oh, here's Zuoja, here's Ninja.
yeah,
These are Sentais that came before, so it's again for people who've never seen it. But I like the fact that it's just they're in the pose and then they come together. I think that works really well compared to like running off or like the spirits are going to go and attack the bad guys type thing. So I think it really does work well. I like the gimmick where it's not I'm transforming into that person, but I'm now gaining an ability from it. We don't know
yeah,
how long the how long it lasts for. It could last forever or until you change gears, but it's showing it. And I also kind of like the a camera angle where he's up in the air where they just threw a drone up and went, yeah, that'll do. And then literally you just see cars like it's a normal day in Japan and no monsters, and it's just like this one small car park where everyone's having
yeah.
a fight in it.
I definitely think these gears are going to be used for more like special attacks because it only
Mm,
seems to be focused upon their abilities that do such an effect. So obviously we have Zenkaiser using Duo Eagle's like flying technique in order to sort of like slice right into enemies, and then obviously we have our Juran deciding to use the Ninja like special ability where he uses that extremely fast slashing with his sword.
yeah.
I really loved that move as well. It looked really good with Zenkaijuran.
Mm.
Oh,
I think
sorry, yes. Just
oh,
want to quickly go through some of the things that people were saying earlier. Richard saying about the changer, saying about my favourite part is the noise the gun made while doing a Gatling
I like
shot. Yeah,
I
it
do like
sounds like
that.
a scab band. And Black Queen saying I love that sound too. So yeah, I think everyone enjoys that. Sorry, you were
Mm.
saying, Erlim?
I think the only thing that annoys me about this is it's the fights are slow. Like
Yeah,
it's more, and I've noticed this in Dino Fury as well,
yeah,
where I know you got to let them like look cool and stuff, but it's
yeah.
like you think the bad guys would attack like straight away rather than wait. Where you're just like, I'm just gonna put this in, okay? Bang! I don't know. It's the only thing, but again, it's the first episode, so I'm not gonna
Yeah.
judge it too harshly. But it's a thing where maybe they could speed it up a tiny bit, but not by
Yeah.
much.
I think this kind of is more showy, and I think
Mm,
the element of surprise is probably the reason for that. But I do agree, yeah. I think that will change as we progress in the show. So they'll probably have to do something like during oh, if I remember now, it was Dino Charge counterpart. They have obviously the
mm,
dance change sequence, don't they? Where they sort and it ends
yeah.
up becoming the sort of thing where the Rangers have to sort of like dodge attacks while they're doing the dance. I think that's going to be the sort of scene we're going to see occur as we're going forward. So when they're trying to use the gears, they're probably going to have to try and rush and dodge while they're using them. So
Mm.
I reckon you're right about
If not, it will grind my gears.
that. Oh, puns!
Yeah.
Yeah, as I see what other people have been saying. Oh, Black Queen saying about they fought in the middle of an explosion. Check mark. Okay. Oh, using ability. Jetpack Spring is also saying using abilities instead of morphing into the actual ranges is fine for me. Yeah, because that's what I was worried about when they were gonna have the gears in Zenkaiger. Because I didn't want the same thing as Gokaiger, because that's their own aesthetic. I didn't want it to be a repeat of what has
Mm.
already been done. So I'm glad it's more like special abilities and stuff instead. So let's move on. My favourite part with of Sek-chan is just when he's explaining all of these different teams, and he just turns around and goes, "Nin nin."
Yeah, I love that as well. it's I think it's a little comedy because again it's like the grandma like I also love the fact he's explaining it to the grandmother as well, and she's just like, I don't
Yeah.
care. Like she's like, oh my god, what's going on? And he's just like, well, the 40th anniversary Super Sentai, and he could go on for ages, and it's just like, oh, but the way I think it's the nan like she says something, and then the bird has to finish it and go, nin nin. I love it. It's just and if they add little subtle things like that through the entire series, I will be very happy
Yeah.
because that makes me laugh more than like, oh, over the exaggerated pun jokes, you know. But nin nin, just love
Yeah.
it.
I noticed there's also quite a lot of people on Twitter noticed how the last sort of like anniversary seasons are actually the ones being used in this particular episode. So
Mm.
with um, Jiroja, that was the 40th season for Super Sentai, but the Ninja was the 20, 25th 25th anniversary for Power Rangers. So
Oh
no one,
yeah.
someone did caught onto that. So maybe they used it in that way. There's no, most likely is the case.
Mm.
But then again, 29 is right before. Well, sorry, 39 is right before 40. So it
Is
maybe
it?
just be.
Is
Oh
it?
yeah,
I'm
oh
joking.
yeah. The 39th season is right before the 40th. So that's probably the sequential reason.
Mm.
Sorry, the reason why that's occurred. Don't mind me stumbling my words. I'm getting dry in the mouth. I should have brought a drink. Okay, so obviously once that all occurs, we have a huge fight straight off the bat, and then we see the debut of Zenkaijuran in his Zord mode, and I love the look of this. I love the
Mm.
look of him. It really does look a lot better in the show than it does in the toy because with the jaw and stuff, you think, oh, that's a bit over large. I don't know how that's supposed to move, but it does look more of a dinosaur in the show than it does as a toy. Like
Mm.
it's more the jaw articulation is what I'd expect. The actual body proportions are really good as well. What do you think of it, Ellen?
I liked it. Um, I was wondering how they were going to do it. I think his reference to Lupin versus Pata was really good in it, where obviously they don't know what it is, and then he just grows up and he's just like, "What the fudge?" And I love it because when I saw it, I was just like, "That's actually quite funny." But it's the way that it happened, where he's just like, "Okay, I don't know what to do. I think I know what to do. I'm gonna go do a thing that I think I'm gonna do."
Mm.
But it was more kind of out of thing, and everyone wondering. I always like that when you have the bad guys watch and go, oh crap, what are we going to do? And everyone's like, what the hell's happened? I love that sort of thing. So when everyone's just like, oh, okay, I think it's the lead up because when he flips the gear and it goes like, say, Juran, big mode, and then it's just like he fires it and it's like, and it's no
Yeah.
sound, and it goes, and I think it just worked well. I was like, do you know what, that made me laugh because you probably won't see that sort of thing again, and it's that one moment. So not unless, like, say, some of the others have some certain hidden abilities, I think that's going to be quite good. So
Yeah.
I liked it. I think the way that they did the sound effects for it was quite interesting too. I keep saying
Yeah.
interesting. I don't know why. It's a lot of fun. I like
Yeah.
it. It's
Yeah,
good.
I've noticed when we've been rewatching some the previous episode, we do have our sort of like specific phrases we like to use.
Mm,
But
yeah.
who cares? They work well. Who will
Yeah.
change them? But
Interesting.
yeah, I love how it's easy to see how they actually become like the Zord form and stuff because all it is a flip of the gear. So it makes you wonder what other gears are gonna cause transformation. So I think the most curious ones, because obviously we see what they're going to become when they flip theirs over the main rangers. But what do the actual discs belong into each Super Sentai team? I wonder what they're going
Mm,
to do. Because if the top side uses a special ability, what does the other side do? That's what I want
yeah.
to know. But
I
that's
reckon I reckon
uh,
it'll be Megazord. So like
yeah.
they'll transform, be like, oh, how do we do it? Flip it over. Why didn't I think of that?
Yeah, I would like to hear everyone else's views on the Zord. One thing I should actually say as well, actually, because I forgot to mention how where you say about the reference to previous Super Sentai, it wouldn't surprise me if there actually is a lot of hidden sort of like quotes and stuff and references for other Super Sentai shows. Because I mean, there's probably some ones that I could probably miss generally because I haven't seen Super Sentai as much as maybe people in Japan or some long life fans have. So the fact that you picked up on that one was really good, and I saw that a lot of people picked it up on Twitter. So it makes you wonder if there is any other hidden ones that we may not have seen. But yeah, some of the obvious ones in I definitely picked up on. But yeah, it's weird how agile the T-Rex, Juran is in a T-Rex form. I wasn't expecting those arms to be able to do anything.
I think now they've spoilt themselves with Rear Soldier because Rear Soldier, or even from like say Lupin versus Padaranger, they have to
Yeah,
make it different. So with Rear Soldier, you definitely saw that they upped it where you can have a guy in a massive suit literally like cheese it across the screen. So
yeah,
I feel like if they went back to the whole thing of like he's just plodding along like that, it's not going to work. So they had to make him more nimble. Even if they had to use a lot of CGI and stuff like that, I
yeah.
feel like if they went back to that, they would probably lose it. And for an anniversary season, you want to get it more hyped up. So it will be very much interesting to see how they do it again much later on. If they're going to drop it, or if they're going to go back to that sort of thing, or will they follow the Rear Soldier type route?
Yeah. It's likely it could go either way, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I think you're right in saying that doing an animation for these particular Zords probably is most beneficial, just because of the way they're supposed to be organically moving. So, and it works well for Zenkaijuran as well.
Mm.
Now, finishers.
Yeah.
We saw two finishers in this series, in this first episode. Obviously, we're seeing the Zenkaiser, but my absolute favorite has got to be how Zenkaijuran finishes. I was not expecting this. I was not prepared.
The butt attack, just literally.
It just, I was like, I thought, oh, good, like sort of like body, sort of like cartwheel slash sort of thing. That'd look really cool for the tail. Then he goes up and just gets ready to plummet and just like, yep, I'm ready. I was like,
I'm gonna,
oh my god, no way. I just love.
I'm gonna sit on you, and I'm gonna make sure it hurts.
With your bud of all things, I was like, oh.
Just went straight for it. I think that's what I think this is why like that sort of thing works a lot more because it stands out like all the way through Sentai. I've like a finisher by the Torcuja massive thing that drops down. I've never seen anything like that. And I think this is how we can tell that they're trying to be a bit more funnier. They're doing something a little bit more different, and it's paying off. So them doing a butt attack, and like literally, it was more stuff. He threw himself across the city just to get it, and I was like, "Get in there, son! Go on, get him!"
I think that just sort of shows you the characteristics of, excuse me, of Juran because, he's kind of a creative type by the looks of things. Like he's always, as long as it works, he's happy to try anything. That's the sort of essence I'm getting from him. I mean, like when he was bringing food and he was trying to mingle with, obviously people that were younger than himself. I think that shows a lot about how creative and how much effort he'll go into doing something. And if he thinks it's the right move, he'll go for it.
When his character sheet dropped and it read grumpy old man type thing, I generally was thinking, oh god, it's going to be the type of character that's get really angry. But to be fair, he feels like a teenager or like a young adult where he's much like, hey, how you doing? I want to join in. I'm trying to make friends. And then suddenly he's like, oh, I'm doing it. I'm just jumping in. And I like that. And I don't see the old man element. So it's from that character stuff. I wonder if the other's going to act exactly like the others, for what they've mentioned, or if it's going to be different. And I want to be surprised in this entire series. I don't want it to be, okay, next week he's going to do this. I want to be thrown in each episode. Oh, this is different. This is different. This is different.
Yeah. I think we're going to get that, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm just having a look at quick comments here. Just so Richard and Blackwing mentioned about how there's a Godzilla reference in this particular episode. Honestly, I missed it, so I'm glad you pointed it out, because now I think about it, I'm like, oh yeah, that was a Godzilla reference. Yeah, that breath, yeah.
I was going to say breath is very similar.
Yeah, I didn't clock on that first time. But now you said it, yeah, I know. I noticed that now.
Didn't the bad guy look a bit like one of something that Godzilla's fought against as well at some point?
Oh, possibly, yeah. Nothing, no one comes to mind, but
Mm.
yeah, I can see that as a possibility. And so, yeah, we've got that fight done. The heroes have obviously gone straight back to grandma's.
Yeah, gonna get some stuff. All the stuff in the shop is free now. Yay! I'm gonna cook you some lovely meals. If she brought out some tea or some buns, I would have gone. Oh, I hope at some point in this we have a shot of a quality street tin with some buttons, some needles, some thread,
Yeah,
as you would do, or some keys, just some as you would normally find in any like old lady's house type thing. If we don't, I'm going to be very disappointed. I will write to them.
yeah. Right, I think the most important part is we're going to actually see now how exactly this show's going to work in each episode. Because
Mm.
it looks like the world that Kaito is part of is not only the last world, but it seems to be like absorbing other dimensions, so other things are coming into it. So that's why we have this mushroom world suddenly appearing.
Ah, fucking mushroom world. Why? I hate mushrooms, so I'm like, oh, why? But that's one thing I actually picked up. Is I hope that every single episode ends with something like that, because it will be a nice kind of follow on, and it'd be
Yeah.
like, oh, so if you go, oh, I can't watch this week's episode because of reasons. At least then I go, oh, so it's the mushroom episode. That was the first episode, number 2, and it
Mm.
just kind of does it. But I kind of want them to keep it doing like that.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. I think it's gonna be good. But yeah,
Mm.
I think as everyone knows, the next episode is gonna definitely feature Gao-on. So we'll see Zenkai Gao-on hopefully taking up his range of powers and debuting there. But
Yeah,
I say hopefully, if he is,
it's gonna happen. Gonna
it is.
happen.
It's shown.
Yeah. Who is this character? Could he be a main character that's going to be in it every single week?
Yeah. But yeah, one of the things I straight away took to as soon as I saw the preview for the next episode, and if this is a spoiler for someone, I'm sorry, but you should have seen it. I knew straight off the bat. I think I did make this comment, didn't I? Where I said it's most likely that Zenkaiser is going to be the one that pilots the Megazord, even though he's not actually got a body to form a Zord. Because you can see him right in the middle there. He's on his own little pad.
Just there driving it. Like, oh, so I don't want to do it. Yay! Left turn.
Yeah. Oh, I should probably mention as well. Those people did have mushrooms on their heads. That's probably an important
Yeah.
part of the story. I hope that's not bad.
Can
But
you
yeah,
imagine if they tribute to Power Rangers and have him in his cockpit that's just as looks like they pulled something off, like say Samurai
yeah,
or wherever? I think that would be so cool.
yeah. I am wondering though, for Zenkaiser's gear, this is just a guess, but do you think the flip side of that is the way they combined? Do you think Zenkaiser is the one that causes them to combine with his particular power? Like it could be different for Juran and Gao-on when they flip over their gear. But what do you think?
Probably. But what I would love is literally they didn't think about it until like say much later on, where they all need to combine. Where it's like, why didn't you just flip your games? I was like, oh, I've never really thought of it like that. All right, activate it. I
Yeah,
think that's sort of like that. I would find that humor quite funny. But
yeah,
I reckon that's going to be a thing. I reckon it'll be like, you guys got to combine together. What happens if I flip mine over, activate, and then they combine to make it? Or literally, maybe he doesn't control them at all. Maybe that's the platform that he can sit and it hovers, so he
yeah.
doesn't get hurt by the buildings.
You know, one thing I will mention quickly with the gears that the bad guys have, I thought these were going to be what um, Kaito and the others would have to reclaim in order to gain those Super Sentai powers. Because if their powers are trapped in it, do you
Mm.
think that's what actually happens? Do you think they have to collect these, kind of like the ninja, when if they get if they get the shurikens, then they change into something they can use? Do you think that's a
Mm,
likelihood?
maybe it could be a thing. Um, I just generally thought that if they defeated the monster, especially if there's like 45 episodes in this series, which would be the best thing if they did. But like literally, as soon as they defeated the monster, then they released one of the Sentai worlds, and
Yeah.
that kind of worked. That they do look like cookies. Just give them that as well.
Oh, can we make those cookies, please?
Yeah. Um, but yeah, like I think that'd be kind of cool if they did, like, to unlock it, or if they have to, to gain a power, they have to like do something. Maybe he'll get a talk from Akared, and he just literally goes, right, brief thing. We don't have Megazords. These guys do. Freaking go for it. Just don't pull the red lever until the last episode, and thus therefore it's the ultimate attack.
Yeah. Yeah, I really think that it's going to be interesting to see what we see in the next episode, because obviously we're going to have Gowan, so whether or not Majin and Varun are going to be introduced will be another thing for episode 3. Because they could always have that break, because they've already got a Megazord. I think that's the vital things, really, isn't it? The Changer, some Rangers, and a functioning Megazord, and then maybe the other two are introduced later. Because they do have that sort of... they do sort of have that momentum when it comes to stuff like Rue Soldier, where they have the 3 they need, and then the other 2 are a little bit later, so like episode 5 or episode 6.
Mm.
What do you think, Ellen?
I'd be okay with that. I mean, to be fair, if it was just Kaito and Jiren for like majority of like say 5 episodes, I'd be more than fine with that, because I like the way that they work together. It's not like it's these guys again. Actually, I wanted to see more, and it's like they kind of work well in battle together. Like there's enough like quips, there's enough banter, and I like that. I generally think that works a lot more. What about you?
Yeah, I think it seems to be a lot more of a, when they got the actual Rangers themselves involved, we're having those sort of like key characters at the beginning, and then just slowly progressing and showing off all of these different powers, and then get into more debuts. I think would be a nicer way to sort of have each of the episodes. But I think where they're going to have like different dimensions intersecting is going to be curious to find out why that's happening, and also which ones are going to appear in each of the shows.
I think so as well. I think
Yeah.
we're going to see, like, I mean, what power, if they do it, like, say 2 powers per episode or 1 power, which power would you like to see next?
Oh, I think something like Kaku Ranger or perhaps Die Ranger would be interesting. Because off the top of my head, those are 2 that I think are going to be sort of the most interesting to see what powers they sort of gain from those. But anything Ranger, I would have peak interest in, because those are sort of like barely seen. I mean, you see them, obviously, you had them in Zenkaiger, but I don't think they have anything that definitive off the top of my head. I mean, I'm talking about someone who's only seen like Power Rangers and then the Super Sentais connected to those. So anything before that, I have yet to fully sort of like take in and watch fully. So I have appreciation for all of those previous seasons, but I have yet to see them, so I can't speculate on what their primary powers are. But something like Flashman having those sort of like what are they called, prism gauntlets, and then punching.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I can imagine that being the case for their particular coin. I mean, sorry, gear. But yeah, okay, we better wrap this up, because I was not expecting to go on for this long. But that's me. I like to ramble.
That's fine. Don't worry. I think it's good.
Yeah.
I would quite like to see Denjaman. I don't know why. Just literally, I want to see something that's not used much.
Yeah. Is it Denjiman or Flashman I was thinking of that uses that gauntlets? I can't remember.
I think it's Flashman that has it, because I was.
Flashman, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to go back to Zenkaiger, or at least actually watch some of the stuff.
You should get 35 years worth there.
I remember going through Kamen Rider. That was difficult. That was. There's so many episodes, and but worth it. I have to do the same again. Okay, so out of 5 gears, what are we all rating this episode so far? Ellen, would you like to go first? 4.
4.
I
said it at the beginning.
Yeah.
Say it now. 4. How about you?
Why 4, may I ask again?
Why 4? I think it's a good opener. For me, I felt like there were some parts where, how do I say, like, it felt like you knew it was definitely COVID restrictions. I also felt like there were times where the bad guys just stood around, and it was more kind of like if you're on a film set at some point and you're standing around doing nothing, you get kind of eh. So it's like, oh, we transformed, but then some of the bad guys would wait before attacking, and I could see that going on. But for storyline, I thought it was good. I thought the special effects were good. The comedy was at the a standard rate, which I liked.
Yeah.
So still a 4, but it's a high 4, not a low 4.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there. I don't think there was anything really definitive that could really push me towards giving it a 5, because it was a great episode and it had so many great debuts and there was so much humor and action and so many brilliant elements to it. But there wasn't something that was key to make me say 5 gears
Mm.
yet. Like, yeah, I think there's something they could have added a little bit more to it, or they could have, I don't know, maybe there was something like to do with the actual storyline that could have changed a bit, like as a debuting, because I think the professors and having that particular interior building and stuff was a little bit underwhelming. I think
Mm.
I think the secret entrance was like great humor, but I think it could have been a little bit different just to make it seem a little bit more like wow. But yeah, I think that's the reason why I'm giving mine 4.
Basically, if the whole base was like an Apple store, I would be giving it a 5.
Okay, I see what everyone else has been saying. So far, we've only got Blackwing that's saying 4 gears for me. Yeah, I think that's pretty much what everyone's probably gonna say. Oh, someone else saying about what you were saying earlier about what uh,
Mushroom.
powers and what power range. Sorry, what Super
Oh,
Sentai gears I would like to see. So Blackwing's saying about Goggle. Oh wait, no. I don't care which power they use next as long as it ain't Goggle 5. And then Richard saying Time Ranger. Yeah, Time Ranger might be a good one, but I think that might more likely be something that would be used later on down the line when we got perhaps a sixth Ranger involved. Because
Mm.
something as big as Time Ranger, like one of the big fan favorites, I don't think that's going to be used lightly. I think some of the big ones that everyone loves are always going to sort of be used in a big way. Okay, so Richard is also saying held me better than Roost Soldier, to be honest. I quite liked Roost Soldier. In a way, I can agree with you there, because I think where Zenkaiger has those sort of visual aspects that really grasp you, I think Roost Soldier sort of didn't have that as much. I think,
Mm.
but that just might be the vibe. That just might be the aesthetic that didn't quite grasp me. But yeah, I can understand where you're coming from there. Yeah. So we've got no other views on how many gears. So I think 4 is a safe bet.
Yep.
I hope people that rewatch this comment in below and say what they
Yeah.
think.
How can you not give it a
Yeah.
5 gear star?
But definitely, next episode we do, I think we're going to do a lot shorter, because these are really long. I feel bad. Because this has definitely gone on longer than I expected. But yeah, I'm so glad everyone was able to join us today that could. Thank you so much, Erlim. And where can everyone see you on social media?
Ellen on pretty much everything but Twitter, which is mainstream live because someone stole my username.
Oh no. Yep.
They don't
And
use it either.
yep, everyone can just find me on Twitter, and if I ever get it going, Twitch.
Do it. It's
But yeah,
easy.
primarily Twitter. You can find me at Henshin Asset, and Instagram as well, so you can see me on there too. So yeah, thank you for everyone joining and for watching. I hope we can do this again real soon.
We got
Joking, of
another.
course. We're doing next week, and we've actually got a special guest for next week as well. We're going to be
Huzzah.
joined by Jeremy, I believe, is from the Toku Toy Store in the UK. So one of the people that I think is like definitely the best thing that we've ever had in the UK, because it stopped the Power Ranger Desert. That was my biggest concern. Getting Super Sentai stuff was really painful before he came along. So yeah, we'll have him on the show, and he'll be talking about episode 3, and episode 2. I'm getting ahead of myself. And should be also showing us the Ranger gear that we'll be getting. The toy version of the Zenkai Changer as well. So yeah, that's all to look forward to on the next episode. So thanks, guys. Thank you, Ellen.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. See you
Bye.
next time.